I'm here. I'm here. What's up, chat? What's up? How's everyone doing? I'm a little sick. Apologize. I tried to send out some notifications last night. I couldn't do it. I was on too many of medications and way too little of energy to send any notifications. I did post in Discord. You can still hear me. I'm sick as fuck right now. But no, we're feeling a lot better. Feeling a lot better, doing a lot better. Hopefully, I'll be able to go to trade tomorrow, and make that sweet money the markets are offering people with. Cause holy smokes, we finally got what the Fed, or at least we finally got what we wanted from the Fed, which is they're talking about rate cuts coming in soon. Rate cuts at the beginning of the year, I think 2024. They have seen everything they want to see with inflation, and they think that they are taming the beast. So, very, very good indications here from the Fed, from the FOMC committee, from the central bank, basically. Central bank. Why did I say central bank? From the central bank, from the federal bank. Markets obviously liking that sentiment, and you saw where the markets went to at 2 o'clock. A big spike in the north side move on all markets. Dow hitting a new all-time high. S&P 500 only few points away from it. Nasdaq in the after hours, if you count the after hour move, Nasdaq's only off like three-ish points or so. So big moves over here across the board on all markets, taking the stock market right back into all-time highs. It's been crazy. It's almost been wonderful to be an investor starting of the year going into now, because it's only been profits and nothing but profits for me. And Yeah, it's been awesome. So welcome market, welcome bulls, goodbye bears. All bears are now in the hospital, getting their hopium and their copium masks fitted upon them, while the bulls are dancing, and the bulls are rejoicing the moves at the moment. Once again, I apologize for not being able to let you guys know that I couldn't stream yesterday. Was just dying, was simply dying, and now I feel a little bit better. Some medications in me, and some food in me. So why don't we get started? As always, we have a long list of stocks to talk about. No trades on my end because obviously I was bedridden. So we'll just dive straight into all the stocks that we want to take a look at, all the fun stuff that we might want to be prepared for tomorrow. Granted that I do go to trade tomorrow, I'm hoping that I have enough energy, I'm not dying off of sickness as much for me to be able to go into work tomorrow. So I'm looking forward for that. And if we do, then we got to be prepared for it. So why don't we start off right now by getting started? Oop, that should not be on. Let me turn that off. Why don't we get started with all things stock market right now, ladies and gentlemen, with our wonderful watch list. We always have a big watch list ready. Hello, what the hell is that? We always have a big watch list ready for you, a wide list of stocks to talk about. The first one on that is Adobe. Adobe actually announced earnings today after hours. I got to take a little bit of a look of how that earnings played out. I will promise you this line was not put in. Now it was put in probably the last time we talked about Adobe, most likely during the Trader TV times. But yeah, here we go. Adobe basically dropping right back into that previous kind of 52-week low area that we just recently took off on ADBE, pulling back to it on support on looks like what was a good earnings report, but let's read into it a little bit more. EPS beat, revenue beat. Let's see what the guidance is on this stock. And for that, we're going to need to bring in our good friend, Benzinga. Bringing Benzinga over here. Benzinga, earnings Q4B, offset week Q1, total revenue forecast, stock sinks. So Q1 forecast not looking that good apparently. Q1 forecast, it's still in the higher end of the ranges. 5.1 bill, 5.15 bill compared to 5.19 bill. So they're going to miss out on revenue most likely. But EPS looks like to be coming up in the higher end of the ranges. Adobe has been monumental for me, however, because their AI capabilities on Adobe, on Photoshop, has helped me monstrously creating these thumbnails that you guys see me create every single day. So shout out to that. I honestly think Adobe has been doing some wild stuff recently with their AI capabilities capabilities, not only on Photoshop but across the board on all tools, such as Illustrator and what's the other one that they have? Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop. Anyways, bunch of the other suites that they have over there going on. Amazing AI from Firefly, which they bought. They acquired Firefly. So obviously a little bit of miss on revenue coming in. Well, at least they're guiding a little bit of a miss on revenue for the next quarter. Hence the stock is dropping down quite a bit. But however, the report's not actually that bad in my opinion. The report's good, and this might just allow the stock to be some sort of a support area where you're looking for some longs, especially with where the market is at the moment, where good news should be good and bad news should be bad. This news isn't actually bad or as bad in my opinion. You saw the stock jump down and then get bought right back up after the earnings report. You saw it got right back up, and now it's just shy off of 600. In my opinion, tomorrow, if this stock is above 600, then there is no real shorts at all. It should not reclaim 600. We should not be trading above 600. And if it is trading above 600, then you're kind of waiting for yesterday's ranges to come back into play for us to really make any real decisions on Adobe. Before that, you're not making any real decisions on this stock. You're just going to be purely gambling. So why don't we look out for some notes over here that we're going to put down. The first note, obviously the support at 570, that previous 52-week high coming into play one more time today. I think we dropped all the way down to 565 actually, but we're going to use that 570 line as a support. The stock should not trade below 570 in my opinion. What the hell? I'm typing 570, but the numbers won't go down because my num block was off. So we fixed that bad boy. Okay. Support 570. The resistance should technically be somewhere where the yesterday's VWAP or the 2-day VWAP is, I guess. But if we were to zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see. Oop, didn't mean to change that one. We should be kind of into these areas of 600. So that's why I said the stock should technically not even be able to trade above 600. If we are already above these prices from 590 to 600, then that's a little bit questionable as to why did we even push down. Was it some sort of a profit taking? You know, obviously a big move from January of this year. Let's go to year to date instead. A big move from January of this year all the way up to where we are right now. Almost 91% move up to the north side on ADBE. So not really expecting, buyers to keep on wanting to punch these high prices as we are so close into all-time highs. But then again, you could say the same thing about QQQ or the S&P 500, where there's no seller in sight. Absolutely not a single seller in sight on these markets. The bears have been evaporated. Their buying power has been wiped out, and they have been pushed out of the market at the moment. Here's the S&P 500, so close away from the all-time highs. We're only like 8-ish points away from the all-time highs on the bigger cap basket stock. Not the bigger cap, but the larger basket of stocks, which is 500, whereas the QQQ is only 100, and the IWM Russell which is 2,000 stocks, also pushing pretty close back to all-time highs over here. So monster moves across the board. Get ready for some fun moves basically in the market is what I'm trying to say, with the Santa Claus rally coming up very soon too, which I guess you could say is a myth. It doesn't really have, it's not a real thing or whatever, but we've seen it sometimes be a real thing. As long as buying is there, we are interested in how to situate ourselves for those trades. So for ADBE, in my opinion, we should not see the stock above 600, so I'm going to put 600 in my resistance. And infliction, in my opinion, will be 600 or even 590. 590, you see right here, this 591 to 591.17. 590 is my notes, basically. The idea is if stock is holding above 600, no shorts. That's all I'm going to put in my notes, because it's as simple as that. If above 600, bullish. And that's going to be in my notes over there. The one thing that's going to keep me away from really trading this position is the high price of the stock. $600 a position. It's a little bit of a hefty price, obviously, for a day trader. You could, I don't have a buying power issue. I don't have a buying power issue at all with my day trading account, but it's just, it'll be harder to manage your risk over here. The risk to reward will play out if it is in your favor. You'll be able to risk maybe $5 to get $10, maybe $20. Let's quickly go see what the ATR is of ADBE. Adobe's ATR, as you guys can see right there, 1364, and on earnings days, I won't be surprised if it does bring in a 2 times ATR or even a 1.5 ATR, which obviously brings in $20 worth of move on that stock. So on earnings days, you could look for some fun moves. Talking about earnings days, fun moves. Here's a stock that's actually the one that I'm most interested to keep an eye out for. It's Jabil, JBL. Last time the stock announced earnings report, I was pretty surprised with the move that the stock had in it. It was a monster move. It just did not stop going up. It was, I think it took it to a new all-time high at that moment. Let's actually go confirm that. So yeah, as you guys can see right here, let's zoom back into the 1 minute chart, sorry, 1 year chart, 1 day chart, where each candle is 1 day's worth of information. This was the last earnings report, and I remember trying to short it at 117. I remember trying to short it at 120. I remember trying to short it at 125 and got burnt every single time on this stock. It was just a machine gun move to the north side. So I want to be interested in seeing what type of moves this stock can give us on the next earnings report that's coming out very soon over here. And let's also go see how big of a beat this report was compared to the last report. Well, it looks like they actually missed on revenue here slightly, but they beat on EPS a little bit, not too drastically. They beat on EPS a little bit, didn't really beat on revenue, but I'm guessing whatever they reported here as guidance really helped out Jabil to the north side. I was pretty surprised to also learn that Jabil was not actually the headphones company, because JBL, I thought it was JBL Audio, but it was not JBL Audio. It was Jabil Technologies, or Jabil Inc., and they create some sort of technologies for a wide variety of companies. Yeah, like wide variety of companies. I remember learning about it a little bit the last time I talked about this stock, because I was so confused as to why this company is even making such a big move in it. But then someone in the chat actually came out and educated me a little bit about this company. So that brought us that put the stock on attention for us. Very, very interesting to see what the stock will do tomorrow. Some levels over here that I have mapped out, you could trade off of these levels, yes, but I think the stock will, give you somewhat of a insane move to the north side or to the downside off the earnings report. At which point you might have to revamp some of these levels that you have already put out on the stock. So I'm gonna refrain from putting anything in my notes just yet for JBL. After the stock announces tomorrow pre-market, I'll keep a close eye on it just because of how it traded last earnings report. Not saying that it has the reason to do that exact same type of move, or replicate that type of move on the opposite direction. I'm just saying that there is a reason to watch this stock, and that's worthy enough to keep it on our watch list. So JBL, make sure you're watching it. Let's head on over to Oracle. Oracle is one of those stocks that announced earnings report recently and actually flushed to the downside off the earnings report. After flushing, we are somewhat of holding a base over here, trying to form that support in front of $100. We talked about in our notes on day one of earnings report, where if the stock does not hold 104 on the bids, then there is no longs. And our watch list over here, you can, let me show you the watch list. So on our watch list, this one actually just can be edited. December 14th, 2023. So this one over here is on the 12th. You can see we put on our notes. We put it in our notes over here. If the stock cannot hold 104 and not trade below that, looks, what? Oh yeah, okay, yes. If the stock can hold 104 and not trade below that, looks good for a long. If the stock is under 104, just wait for 103 or 102 to find buying instead. And that's basically where the buying does not show up and the stock basically goes all the way down all day. The next day opens up slightly under 100, traps the longs under 100, peaks back above today's VWAP, and it's holding all the move later on. So Oracle basically did what we wanted it to do. Sorry, not showing you the chart. This is the chart of Oracle day 1. This is the chart of Oracle day 2. That is the notes of Oracle where we talked about what to do if the stock is under 104. You could have played the short. I just didn't think the short was the right idea because the earnings report was pretty decent for the stock on ORCL, but the market obviously didn't like it. But our ideas was right. If the stock is not holding above 104, you can see how on the 5-minute chart, every single time we pop up above 104, we get stuffed right back down. We pop up above 104, we get stuffed right back down. So that 104 area is still acting as a solid wall on this position, and now we're only a few dollars away, $2 to be exact, away from that price point. The earnings day high was about 105. So you could watch out for that earnings day high coming back into play anywhere from 104 to 105 on Oracle. Let me just go back to my today's watch list date. Give me that. Okay, so let me just go back to today's watch list date. And Oracle, as for resistance, we're looking for that 105, 104 area to come back into play. After that, we have the 107s, 50s, and then after that, we have the 110. As for supports to the downside, you have that 9900 area. I'm just going to put 100 at the moment. You have the 100 area up to yesterday's low, which is what, 9920. I'm going to put yesterday's low in brackets. And if the stock cannot hold yesterday's low, especially after how wonderfully the market's trading, then it's not bullish at all. It kind of negates the whole idea. Earnings day move was clearly to the downside. Today's move is being rescued a little bit by the overall market, taking out the all-time highs. And now we're seeing, even though the market's breaking out, Oracle doesn't really have any buying in it, and hence it's pushing down. That's what causes it to take out the yesterday's low. If we're not finding buying at yesterday's low, especially with how the market's been doing. So overall, you want to see buying coming in anywhere in these ranges above 100. You can even wait for 104 to be held. You can wait for 100 to be held. You can wait for yesterday's VWAP to be held, earnings VWAP to be held. Earnings VWAP is currently at 102.50, and today's VWAP is at 101.65. So you can look for any of those numbers to get tested, see if prices are holding, or even if you have any horizontal price points that we have already mapped out somewhere like this 100 area that we just talked about. All of those areas showing you some buying could give you interesting moves to the north side. I'm just going to put Oracle and Jawbill on an orange color scheme for myself because I think they will be the more important stocks. Oracle bias bullish above 100. Bullish above 100. Inflection point will be 104 for me. If stock can get above 104, can look to see what happens at earnings day high of 105. Maybe stock has room to 107 before dying out. Okay, AMD is coming up next on the board over here. AMD, my goodness, $140. I mean, do we even have to say anything about that? Taking profits on the way up over here right now on AMD is your boy Pratty Daddy. I am very happy to see these moves come in on AMD. I mean, we were bagged in at what, $99 or so. So I'm pretty happy seeing this stock going up to 140. I mean, lost for words, honestly, lost for words. AMD has been one of our most profitable stocks. Google actually, I think, has been one of our most profitable stocks, but AMD pretty damn close to it. Maybe Microsoft has been my most profitable. Can't remember which is my most profitable, I'll be honest. Hi, Brad. I'm proud to say that I made a small gain on Tesla today. Let's go, Sky. I love it. Skylar making some profits over there on Tesla. Let's go, baby. I'm sorry. I'm just sick. I'm dying. I can't even talk. I shouldn't even be streaming. I should just be in bed sleeping so I can actually get up and go to work tomorrow. Ah, all right. Let's get going. Let's get going. AMD. So AMD, obviously, that level in AMD that we're looking or waiting to see what would happen is that 141.25 to 141.50. I'm just gonna put that as my resistance. But realistically, AMD has blue skies above it. The last time AMD traded at that price was in January of last year, almost a whole year ago. It's not really like a level that matters. The more important level is basically this 140 area. If AMD clears 140, which is today's high, or even yesterday's high, then that's the area that you want to be seeing how the stock trades into. If we clear 140, trust me, we're going past 140, 125. It's not gonna, clear 140 and then reject 140, 125, which is a level from last year. It doesn't really matter, but it's just a level that we have mapped out, so something to keep an eye out for. As for supports on the way down, you see how we basically moved all the way back down to this purple range. Always gotta keep watching them purple ranges over here on the market. My purple range goes from 131 to 133, so I'm just gonna put that down in my notes over here for areas that the AMD could find support in. I don't think the market goes down tomorrow. I think the market's getting ready to break out of all-time highs for the QQQ, for the S&P 500. And as for the AMD's inflection point, we got 140. If AMD bullish above 140, I think AMD is going to be a big trade tomorrow. As long as it can hold 140 on the bid, so we're going to be watching that stock pretty closely. If stock can get above 140 and hold, we got ourselves a ride to the north side. Okay, next up on stop is Uber, and Uber has been kind of struggling into this all-time high prices, not really bursting out of all-time high just yet, and it's got a couple more days before the stock gets added to the S&P 500 index. And one thing that always happens to stocks when they get added to the S&P 500 index is they get absolutely flushed to the downside after. And this is what happened with Tesla. This is what happened with almost every other position that gets added to the S&P 500 index. So right now, though, however, because Uber is getting added to that index, a lot of hedge funds and a lot of other companies are buying up the stock because they would be in violation of law by not owning this position on their portfolios if they offered you the same returns as the S&P 500, or they said that they're tracking the S&P 500 for you. If you hired a hedge fund manager and they said they're tracking the S&P 500, and next thing you know, their portfolio doesn't have Uber in their investments, then you can technically sue them for lying to you and not tracking the S&P 500 at the end of the day. So Uber over here, because of that big catalyst, has been making big leaps and bounds to the north side. You saw Pan W making those leaps and bounds to the north side recently when it got announced getting added to the index. I think it was right around here. Let me go back to the 1-year chart real quick, because I remember it was before earnings report. Yeah, it was right before the earnings report. It broke out of new all-time highs, and this was when it was getting added to the S&P 500 index. And now you're watching Uber kind of set up perfectly in that situation where it's getting ready to kind of do that same thing. Right now we're forming a nice beautiful base in front of 6150. We still got that 63 barrier, and we still got that 64 barrier to the north side on Uber. So resistances 63, 64. As for supports, we got that 6150, and then we also got that 60 flat skis right over here, I guess. Yeah, you can say 60 flat skis because that's where the S&P 500 index VWAP is. 60 flat skis. Inflection point basically 6150. As long as stock is above 6150, could look to get long for a move into 64. Bullish above 6150. So we're watching to see how the stock trades into that price point for Uber. Next up, actually, I have to put Uber on an orange color list of stocks because it is important. For those of you wondering if you can subscribe to this watch list over here, the answer is yes. You could go subscribe to those watch lists by using the commands in the description right down below. You can do exclamation mark Patreon. Patreon is something new that I've started, I think, this week Monday. Yeah, I think I started it this week Monday. You can choose to support me. The basic tier package, it's all optional. Everything's optional. None of this is being forced. Obviously, all optional. The basic tier package, you just help me buy a slice of pizza every day, get me fat. The other option is where one-on-ones, we have one-on-ones with you, either live on stream or off stream, and I send you my daily watch list in email every single day, where you guys can kind of use that to trades for yourself and whatnot. So feel free to do that. We also got Cameo going on. If you want me to wish your mom a happy birthday or your friends a happy birthday, you could subscribe to me on Cameo. And last but not least, guys, do go check away the giveaway, the TraderPrad Christmas giveaway going on right now. You can have a chance to win 3 months Xbox Game Pass or a 1 month Mid-Journey AI Discord bot, the bot that I use to create my thumbnails at the moment. So you can subscribe to either one of those two. Chances of either winning either one of those two things on December 25th. So don't miss out. Do exclamation mark giveaway and go sign up for that fun little opportunity. Let me do exclamation mark giveaway right now. Giveaway, exclamation mark Patreon, and exclamation mark Cameo. You better not screw me over, Streamlabs. Where are you? All right, there you go. Thank you, Streamlabs. Uh, Coming back to the stonk market, we the next stock on the board over here is Lululemon. Wait, what did I just see? The hell is Lufax Holdings? And what the hell is that symbol? Alright, that's what I saw, and that kind of tripped me out. Okay. I can't breathe, chat. Alright. Lululemon. We were pretty surprised with Lululemon's performance after the earnings report. On the earnings report, it actually plummeted to the downside. If I remember correctly, it went all the way down to $300 or 386-ish or so, and then it instantly reversed back up to the north side. So it was a monster move. Maybe not 386, Brad. Yeah, maybe just into 400, you crackhead. But at the end of the day, the point was the stock had made a insane reversal, taking out the all-time highs and then continue to hold the all-time highs area, showing me that Lululemon's earnings report, at least the sell-off that it originally had, was absolutely fugazi, and the idea that we had that Lululemon would kind of show up to be a CrowdStrike-like performance move, we were accurate on that call out because it ended up breaking out and ended up holding these areas. So now you can see how these candle wick bodies are still showing you a lot of buying in these 500 areas. People are buying 500s on Lululemon, and you're gonna watch this anchored VWAP for earnings basically come back to 490 or even come up to 500, and in that, for that to happen, the stock needs to have a lot of buying in this area and a lot more buying above this area for that anchored VWAP to get pulled to these areas. If you can understand that, then now you understand that this stock doesn't really have a lot of room to the downside, in my opinion. As long as the stock doesn't really break out 500 or 495 to the downside, we have a lot of fun and blue skies, as people might say, to the upside. No real struggle anytime soon. Fun times for Lululemons over here. Vicks Vapor Rubs. Yeah, I have a Vicks Vapor Rub. It's actually in my bedroom. Ginger shots from the grocery store will get you right, my G. Hey, thanks, Sean. I will get that shit going. Uh, uh, all right, let's get started or start. Let's get back to this one, Lululemon. Obviously, it's a little bit of a pricey stock and doesn't really do a lot of volume, so it's a little bit more spready than you would like it to be. This is not really a high priority day trade for me. This is more of a swing trade. And if you are thinking about swing trading the stock, maybe don't let the stock slip too much below 490. I don't see the stock going below 490. You can see how day 1 of earnings move, day 2 and day 3 and day 4 of earnings move. We've basically been holding in the high end of this area, so I don't really see the stock to even go down to 490 to test it, as long as the market's also holding up in the higher end of the ranges. But if it does go below 490, then it could easily have some move right back to the downside over here to 452 area. So you want to be a little careful. Don't really let that stock slip away from you to the downside. Let's go to some stocks that actually are in the price ranges and volume ranges that we like to trade in. And for that, we'll have to go to Docu. Docu, man, we missed a lot of good days over here by being sick on the market. Docu finally taking out this area, and now getting ready to go play with that 58.90 to 60 area. So obviously now we're waiting to see what DocuSign does in $59 and $60. So let's put 59 to 60. As for supports, we got somewhere in this 55.20 to 56 area. I'm just gonna put, where's Docu? 55 to 56 as a range for support. And as for inflection, that's basically that whole range that I want to see the stock holding. Today's 54.65 should not come into play. Technically, the stock should not go under 55 for too long. If it goes under 55, it should get right back above it, in my opinion. So as for notes, bullish above 55, bearish below 60. Okay, and for the notes, we're gonna put in, if stock can hold 55, could look for longs into yesterday's day high or more, which is yesterday's day high, which is basically 56.30, right? 56.30. RH, this one, it's a little bit confusing because I saw this one make a little bit of an insane move not after hours, later on in the day today, I guess right around 2 o'clock, when the 2 o'clock move hit and all stocks started taking off. RH, which announced pretty damn bad earnings report, right? Horrible earnings report. With that 2 o'clock move, took it right back into these highs. So I'm thinking maybe this was a little bit of a fugazi move. This move is not warranted for this stock, and we have a lot of correction warranted from this position right back to the downside. So let's put in some resistances: 290.50. 290.50, and basically looking for a short. I am not interested in a long at all. The earnings report was, I'm going to put bias 100% bearish. The earnings report, ER was horrible, but the stock popped up on the FOMC move. Could see some selling back to the downside. So looking to see any pops into 290-ish, kind of helping us get short over here, 290 to 290.50 for us to get short. Even if the stock can, flush and set some sort of a pattern for us to get short off into, I'm looking for that opportunity. RH, don't think this move, the FOMC move that this stock had was warranted. I think there was a lot of stocks that didn't even make an FOMC move. For example, Uber. Right, Uber didn't even really make an FOMC move. I guess you could call that an FOMC move, but I'm not gonna call that an FOMC move, right? Uber basically stuck in today's range after FOMC, whereas RH comes in with an absolute bullshit move where this happens. So I'm not buying it. I'm looking for that mean reversion, looking for that ER report correction coming back into play to the downside. AI, C3AI, here's another stock, if I remember accurately. The earnings report actually flushed it to the downside, and then we found some support. Today's 2 o'clock move obviously helping it to get back into this $28 area. We've been looking to short AI on that 28, but it's never been able to hold below 28 for us to short it properly on that earnings move so far. So might just have to be a little patient. We did get under 28 today, but then right back above 28 and almost punching into 29 on that 2 o'clock move. So there you go, off the open, 28 cracking, pushing lower, but then buying right back up, and looks like that earnings anchored VWAP is now actually holding as support. So there might not actually be any real selling on the stock because we are actually holding the earnings anchored VWAP. So not the most bullish catalyst on AI. Not the catalyst, not the most bullish technicals on AI, at the bearish technicals on AI that could help us look for shorts. I think at the moment I'm just gonna leave AI on the sidelines. Then we're moving on to GME, but actually it shouldn't be in the sidelines. AI has some good levels over here. I mean, as long as it continues to hold 27, there could be some longs over here into $28.50, $29 or so. I'm just gonna put 27 and then 28.50, but not a stock of high importance for me. Volume's dying off also. GME also not a stock of high importance for me. Walking away from that one unless it really pushes into what 17.50, then I really don't care, right? These levels don't matter to me. 16.50 to 17 doesn't matter. The only level I care about is 17.50. So I'm just gonna put 17.50 on GME and kind of move on from it. Maybe throw in an alert somewhere over here when the stock pushes there. Then I could get alerted and then make a decision based on the price action into that area. Chewy is the next stock. Chewy is kind of getting interesting. We are pushing into some of the prices that we might want to see what the stock does into. That would be right into this 21 to 21.50 area. So if Chewy wants to break out of 21 to 21.50, we could have some fun. I'm gonna put in right over here the alert. Okay, Chewy 21/21.50. 21/21.50. As for supports, we got this area, which is 19.75. Bullish if stock can clear 21/21.50 and hold on bids. Okay, and this one, I'll put it in a blue color of trades. I don't think this one's ready to kind of come into play just yet. Oh, wow. I put it in my GME notes instead. Okay, Chewy 21/21.50. 19.75, and Chewy goes on the blue scale of notes for us. Not as important as orange, but still pretty important as long as the stock can push into these prices. CHEY, same stock with Ryan Cohen Catalyst. Both of them made a little bit of an interesting move on earnings day and then basically not doing a whole lot of anything for us. Okay, ChargePoint, this one has kind of died down now, in my opinion, right? We saw the trades kind of play out from ChargePoint. Now it's kind of dying out, no real trade. Let's move on to the next one. Dollar General. Dollar General did make that flush to the downside on the original earnings move after hitting that 140. Now after going all the way back into the earnings VWAP, we're finding some buying coming in. What is this? What is this anchored VWAP? What is this one? Oh, that's a CEO news VWAP. Ah. Okay. So the earnings VWAP has been selling the stock for the most part. I guess it's not. It makes sense because the stock hit 140, which was the previous resistance, flushing off of that ever since. Now coming into where the buyers actually might be based on the CEO news anchored VWAP, you're seeing a little bit of a spike come in, and the spike taking it right into the earnings anchored VWAP. Obviously, that spike today has to do with that 2 o'clock move. So that 2 o'clock move, adding a little bit juice to that spike, taking it above the earnings anchored VWAP and then clearing it past it a little bit to the north side. Now the question is obviously what if the stock does into these price ranges of 130, 135, 140? If we go back into 140, what does the stock behave like above 140? Are we holding 140 on the bids? Are we trading above 140 clearly without any resistances? If so, then the stock has room to 150, right? But if there is resistances into 140, then the stock easily gets plummeted right back to the south side, and that's something that you have to watch out for on Dollar General. Kind of like Dollar Tree too, but Dollar Tree wasn't actually DLTR. Dollar Tree wasn't actually setting up for that move back then, but now it's kind of moving into that picture better. The earnings report from DG didn't actually give this move into Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree obviously using that beautiful FOMC day to help it get back into these price points. So let's actually put Dollar Tree on that watch list too. The resistance for Dollar Tree will be 131.45. The resistance for DG is 139.15, 12. 139. So let's just put 139 over here for Dollar General, and we're just now waiting to see what happens as the stock moves into these price points. Okay, hello. Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Okay. And let's just put Dollar Tree on this watch list also to be safe. Next up, MongoDB. This one, lighter volume, heavier price stock. Earnings day wasn't really the best for it. FOMC day helping out a little bit. We're still under 412. We're still under 413, 415, 411 areas technically, even though we are at 411 right now. This range is what's important to me, which is 411 to 412.50. So MongoDB, as long as the stock is finding resistances into the zone, I want to be able to play that short side trade. So MongoDB, just putting the notes down over here. Bearish sentiment. Look for stock to not hold the 411 area and get short on that failure to hold. Okay, so MongoDB, just one real idea. I don't want to see the stock holding 411, 412.50s. If we are holding above that, then I'm just not going to trade it. I don't care about the longs. I'm bearish. But if we are holding below that, then that's a short thesis. That's a short trade idea that I want to be involved in, and I'm going to be ready to hammer that short trade down. Okay, next stock up on board is going to be Play. I think I had an alert somewhere down over here. Yeah, see, I missed a lot of good trades, eh? That's fine. So Play, this one doesn't really bring in volume for a $48 stock. The volume is only 1 million, so I'm not going to waste my time with it. Not going to waste my time with it. Asana. Choppy, very, very choppy, not the cleanest action. We're still stuck in previous ranges. I mean, look how long the stock has been in this range. For half a year. That's not the exciting trades that we want to be in. Once Asana gets up to $27 or something, then you know what? There's some reason to take a look at it. But this choppiness, you can find resistances in any of these areas to the upside and supports in any of these areas to the downside. That's the chop that I don't want to be involved in. Box is also a little choppy, but at least it's on the lower end of the spectrum when we're talking about ranges, right? But it's still holding this 23 area, which is why I don't like it. The earnings report was negative, and we're still holding this $23. So it's like, why are we holding here? The earnings report should have allowed the stock to get plummeted, absolutely plummeted to the downside, but we're not doing that. The stock is surprisingly enough holding this 22, 23 area where we've been trading for about half a year. We just talked about how boring Asana was by staying in the middle of the ranges. I'm going to repeat it. This is very much like Asana being boring, but it's not in the same realm of Asana being boring because it's actually on the edges of the ranges compared to Asana, which is in the middle of the goddamn ranges, right? So as long as the stock can go to 22, test the supports at 22, and find buying at 22, there could be some trades over there, but my sentiment is bearish on the stock, and it's going to be pretty hard for me to look for long. So we'll just wait and see how the stock behaves into 22, and the next support line above 22 will be your 23.50. And for your resistances, we got 25. Okay, so that's for box. But I'm not sure how important of a trade this one is. Once again, $24 position, average volume traded 2 million. We're going to find way better trades. Most importantly, I think the way better trades right now will be your large cap basket of stocks, all of which are near all-time highs. You got Apple at all-time high, Amazon near all-time highs. I always say that, you know, these are not the stocks that you want to be trading all the time. These are some of the most boring trades intraday, day to day. But when they are pushing into some of these beautiful levels, they're not the boring trades every single day. They're the actual trades that you want to be involved in. So Apple being that one stock going into that all-time high. Once Apple takes out this all-time high, you know where this one goes, right? So lots of fun room comes in. Apple going back into that $3 trillion stock, $3 trillion company. These are where your eyes need to be. QQQ, S&P 500. On a normal day-to-day basis, you should not be watching QQQ. You should not be watching S&P 500 as a stock or as an instrument to trade and make money in. But when the stocks are moving and the markets are doing some wild stuff like they are now, these are the stocks you want to be involved in. Even stocks such as the growth stocks like Affirm, Palantir, talking about Affirm. Where's Affirm at? Look at that, $44. Look at the move on Affirm compared to the move on Box, or even the move on the next stock I was about to go to, which is Sentinel One. All of these stocks are kind of useless now. These stocks were great when they were announcing earnings, but all these stocks are garbage. They don't matter anymore. Now the stocks that do matter are the ones that people are actually investing in. Let's go, GitLab. Choo-choo, motherfucker. I love it. So GitLab launching back up. It's these companies with, you know, tech companies, AI companies are the ones that you want to watch. Talking about AI, we got Pat. Pat's still under 25.50, and if you can get above 25.50 over here on Pat, that's an area of interest for me. So Pat, I'm going to put it on an orange color scheme. We already have an alert at 25.50 on Pat. As for the support, I'm talking about somewhere into these lows over here at the $23 for Pat, and we'll put that one in. GitLab, not really a day trade. I'm swinging that stock on my own account, so we'll leave it at that. SJM, maybe something to talk about going into this 128, 130 area. SJM going into 128, 130, something to take a look at. Finally looking like a area to get short on this position, especially after what it's been doing on its earnings move, right? This earnings move has been a little drastic, a little crazy. So now we're waiting to see what happens into 130 and then 133 on SJM. Let me put 133.38 also in that lines over there. And as for supports, we got anywhere from 125 to 124, but I'm just going to put 125. This one's going to be on the blue color scheme for me. Blue color scheme. And for the notes, we're going to put in expecting stock to see some selling into the R's, into the resistances, and that's it. That's the only notes I care about. HA, not going to talk about HA for you guys. That's a boring stock for you guys. Carvana might be a little interesting. Carvana's acting up one more time. Finally not at 36.50. I remember looking at the stock for like, 5 days in a row. We were stuck near 36.50 and stuck below 42, but now finally above 42. So looks like Carvana getting a little active. You can look for that 42 to 43 area now turn into support, and you can look for that 46 to 47 area turned into a little bit of a resistance where it previously did this. It continues to do that in the higher end of these ranges over here on Carvana. Okay, so watch out for that one on there. Uh, oh God. Uh, Alta Beauty doesn't really matter. Let's go to Rivian. What is Rivian looking like at the moment? Rivian did make that nice spike up to the north side, sorry, but still under $20. So I guess you're still waiting to see what happens at 20-ish or so on Rivian. Real high of that move is 2022. So we're going to put that one over there for 2020. As for supports, don't really care for supports. I only care to see what the stock does into $20 area. If it can show us some resistance into that 2022 area, then I am interested to see what the stock does. Only interested in 2022, 2020 area. If stock can reject here, get short. If stock holds this price on bid, get long. Okay, next up, Roblox, RBLX. Let's go check out what Roblox is looking like. Ooh, Roblox finally clearing a solid resistance area in way less time than it did previously. So we struggled over here for how long? 75 days. We struggled here for about 80 days. We cleared that move in 37 days, right? So the second time around back into this area, it took us half the time, meaning no sellers around this time, a lot more buyers around this time, and they are ready to punch into the higher end of the ranges. They are willing to go aggressive mode and take the size that they want at any price that they are willing to get and take those fills. So that's why you're watching Roblox spend half the time it did in that same price point and actually able to clear above those prices. But you can see how previously every time we get up to these pikes, we start losing some momentum and buyers start dying out. So now this is where the real seller is. This seller over here could have just been some sort of a front running seller who was front running this seller over here, right? But once this seller got sold out, it popped into the real seller and then it sold off, and this seller was waiting for this seller to still be there. If this seller wasn't there, this seller would have punched out for a big loss and this stock would have made insane moves up to the north side. You don't want to be this guy. You want to be this guy, right? You don't want to be this guy. You want to be this guy, and you want to be the guy who catches the seller the right time. You don't want to be, for example, let me draw it. You don't want to be short here, right? You don't want to be short in this area, because what happens if this guy is no longer short? Then you don't have a stop. Your stop is probably somewhere over here, and when the stock pushes up, your stop triggers and you get blown the fudge out of this market, right? You get blown the fuck out. But what you want to be short is wait for that seller to come back. This is what confirmation is, right? People talk about confirmation. You wait for that area to come back into play, that same area. Wait for that area to come back into play, and then now you wait and see. Do we get above it? No. Are we getting below it? Yes. Then you get back short in this area. Now you have a defined stop, and then you ride this area to the downside, giving you that 2R, 3R risk to reward, instead of being this guy where you get in and you pray that the seller's still there with your stops right above over here. And if your stops don't blow out, yeah, awesome, you win. But if your stops blow out, you feel like an absolute fucking idiot because the real seller comes in at a different price point. That's how you want to be trading on everything. See over here too, if you were just long simply because 3 days of bottoms were formed, you probably got stopped out on this move down over here and you missed the real long entry, which is on this side, right? The right side of the V, the right side of the buying, the right side of the tape. Always need to be able to identify that. And as for Roblox, I think we could find that opportunity right into this 45/46.25 areas. Man, Notion actually is garbage, like hot garbage. Notion is so fucking garbage. Man, fuck this garbage ass software. Okay. Bath and Body Works, BBWI. One of you guys actually put this stock on my watch list recently. It's not a bad stock to watch, to be honest. It's been giving you those monster moves, and we were talking about this $40 area, and now look at the stock above 40. Looks like it's got some move into $43. So for BBWI, as long as we're holding, let me color it into, we'll put it into orange scale. We'll put Roblox into orange too, actually. Orange. BBWI, as long as 40 holds for support now, that is going to be possibly a long area to look into, but yesterday's or today's low is basically around $38. I think $39.50 to $40. You can look for any of those areas to come into support for BBWI. As long as stock is above this area, then you're looking for a bullish move. So bullish bias. As long as the stock is holding 40, could look for a move into 43. Next bunch of few stocks over here. UPSC, Snow, CRM. I think none of these ones are actually, oh wow, never freaking mind. UPST taken off. Snow probably not doing anything. Oh, Snow is actually moving into that price point where we had an alert, and that alert triggered. So looks like we might have to set a new alert. UPST 200 coming into play. But I don't think I'll be really doing anything at 200 because this 203, 205 area is a little bit more important. So UPST 203.60/205.60. I put 250.60 high. 205.60. A little bit of importance over there to see what happens. Color it blue. I'm going to put an alert right in the middle of that range for myself. Snowflake. Oh, wait, that was Snowflake. That wasn't UPST. Oops. That was Snowflake. So Snowflake goes into blue color. UPST, I think, actually goes into orange color because it finally broke out of this earnings range that it was in, managed to take out a previous resistance too, and now launching to the north side. So UPST getting a little active. Interested to see how UPST behaves on the way back down. What is that range high and range low? 39.60 and then 38.84. Let's just say 39.50 to 39 to 39.50. I'm expecting that area to get held up for supports. I mean, UPST already well above 42. Oh, that's interesting. That part is interesting. $44 flat was the gap down area. So 44 flat on UPST. 44 flat, 39 to 39.50 for supports. You could even say 40, I guess. What does that area come into? Nope, that's not 40. That's not 40. We're sticking to our 39 to 39.50. 39 to 39.50 and then 44 on UPST. It's going to stay in our blue basket of stocks. Let's go to next, CRM. CRM's not doing anything. Pinduoduo most likely not doing anything. Oh, it's actually setting up. However, these Asian stocks don't really do anything intraday for us, sadly. What's that high? That's a 147.65 high on Pinduoduo, 147.65. So we're going to be watching that area a little bit. Oh, God. A little bit closely. After that, we got 152 on Pinduoduo. CrowdStrike. Ooh, I like this one. This one is moving up pretty decently. It's got quite a bit of a room to all-time highs. I think CrowdStrike, I like it more on the dips in my opinion. So it's not going to be an aggressive long at any moment. I'm only going to be looking for passive longs on any dip buys. I'm going to be looking for it on yeah 250. If 250 gets hold on CrowdStrike, then we could look for longs off of that. Bullish if 250 holds. Workday, we're going to remove that one from our watch list permanently. Let's go to Foot Locker, but Foot Locker, I feel like I want to remove it from my watch list permanently also. Look how much of a dead fish this stock has been. It is making a little bit of a move. You know what? Nah, we're going to remove it permanently from my watch list and come back to it on next earnings report. Off you go. Workday, off you go from my watch list permanently. Delete. And with those two gone, we head over to Shopify. Shopify has been a dead fish too. Sadly, it's just been stuck between 70 to 75. So Shopify not doing too much at the moment. You could scalp the range if you're interested in. I'm just not your range scalpers, so I'm not going to be looking for those trades. But you could do that if you're interested in that. You can scalp that beautiful range Shopify has been giving every single one right now between $70 and $75. Let's head over to the next one over here. It's called Affirm. Affirm finally heading back into a range where we have seen struggles come in on this position right into 49 to 51.50. So looking for that area, 49/51.50 area to come back into play sometime soon. I don't think it comes into play tomorrow or even Friday, but maybe next week we actually see that level coming into play. And for that, I'll just throw in some alerts in the middle of these ranges over here for me to be ready to be interested on see how firm trades. Maybe that alert could go below the range instead of in the range, Prad. So we'll wait for it to see what Affirm does going into that $48 area. As for, oh God, I'm gonna puke. Oh no, I'm not. I didn't mean puke, but I'm gonna. My throat. I'm sorry. Give me a second, chat. Where's my water? I have water. Awesome. All right, let's get going. Affirm. As for Affirm, you could possibly look for that previous peak high over here for support, somewhere into $40. We did dip under $40. You can see how the 9-bar SMA on the daily chart is somewhere around 40 right now, yes, but we've been dipping under 40. Higher lows, higher highs so far, which is good. So technically, as long as Affirm holds above 40, it's pretty bullish. Bullish above 40. Okay, net has been stuck in this range. I'm not sure if net actually took out this range on the EP or on the number today. It did not, and it's still stuck in that range. So we're still waiting to see what happens on this move above 81 on net. Color for Affirm orange. Color for net will be on blue. All right. It's past 9 a.m. I'm amazed you lasted an hour. Honestly, my meds are kicking in and I'm getting a little drowsy. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But we got a job to do, mate. We got a job to do, and I didn't do it last night. I felt pretty bad about it. I honestly felt like shit for not being able to stream last night. Even though I was feeling like shit for normally. But yeah, anyways. Square pushing up into a nice level over here. I like this. I guess you could call this somewhat of a head and shoulders. A head over here, a right shoulder, and a left shoulder. Does that mean Square is getting ready to plummet to the south side? I'm not sure, but this is a pretty important level on Square into 70.50, so we'll watch out how the stock trades into this area. The fact that we didn't take out 70.50 on the 2 o'clock move just goes to show that it is possibly a solid enough of a level to be able to trade off of tomorrow. It's right around the day's high too. The after hour day's high came out a little bit extra because the market kept going up higher and higher. So Square, I think, will be able to make some sort of a trade off of this 70-50 zone. Next up, Palantir. Palantir getting back up to 18, yes, but we've seen how much struggle Palantir has had into that $20 area, so I'm not just ready to be instantly bullish on the fact that we held 17. I still need to see what happens at 2020 on Palantir. Because of that big wall on Palantir that's been holding the stock under, I'm not going to be able to be really bullish. Yes, holding 17 is good. Maybe getting above 18 would be good too, but I still need to see what happens at 20 on Palantir. Let's go to Paramount. Oh god, I'm dying. Let's go to Paramount. Paramount. If I remember correctly, you guys pointed out this stock, I think, on one of these days, and that's why I had the alert. But now the stock has kind of dipped back down, so we're still waiting to see what happens over here going into the 1735. I guess the stock did take. I don't know what day you guys alerted me the stock to, but as you guys can see, it kind of broke out of that area, false break, and then dipped right back to the south side. That's where I kind of would have wanted to be short. I'll show you exactly where I wanted to be short. Did I even trade that day? Yeah, I did trade Monday, but I had no idea. So, yeah, kind of somewhere over here on the failed break of that area, you could have gone easy short there and ridden it to the downside. Paramount, obviously, not that as volatile of a stock. It's a little bit of a more boomer stock, so you can't be expect too much moves on it, especially if the stock doesn't have any real catalyst such as earnings or anything behind it to help it get boosted. ESTC, this was also a stock that you guys pointed out. Let's go see what's going on with this one. ESTC right now made a nice bump up after the earnings report, kind of holding off in this box right before 120, 118.24 to be exact. And we also have the support, I want to say, right in front of 111. So ESTC support 111 and resistance 118.20, 118.30. As long as the stock burst above 118.30, I think there is some room to the north side over here. Elastic NV, not sure what they do, not sure what this company even is. Technology services, package software, what do you guys do? Data analytics, which engages in the provision of open source search analytics agent, blah 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 blah. India. What do you do? Just data and analytics? Of open source search and analytic engine services. It operates through United States. So you basically analyze Google. You basically analyze Google data. Open source search and analytic engine services. You basically analyze Google data, which Google already does better than you. So why are you a good company? How long have you existed? 2012? Why are you a good company? Why is your market cap 11 billion? You're an over glorified search engine analytics company. I swear to God, half of these tech companies are such bogus bullshit companies. Like, look at this company. IPO'd 2018. IPO'd at $63. Runs up to $189. Plummets back. And now getting ready to go back up. I don't buy this company at all. What's your forward PE and what's your PE? Not good. I'm bearish on ESTC. I'm bearish on ESTC. Like, you're just an over glorified data analytics company and you do it for open source search engines? Get out of here, dude. You're just bullshitting me at this moment. Yep, X to call it. Yeah, exactly. You could use some Boomer Campbell soup. Talking about Campbell soup, I have that stock on my watch list. Where is it? I thought I had it on my watch list. Oh, I do. There you go. I do have it on my watch list. Just ignored it. Ignored it. Yeah, there's a good reason to ignore it. Wait, that's the monthly chart. Never mind. Let's go to the yearly chart. There was a good reason to keep the stock on the watch list, and that was over here. That was 2 days ago. Obviously, the 2 days I was sick, missed out on that trade, was looking for that 44 breakout, and now we're well above 44. So now we're just waiting to see what happens at 47 area on Campbell Soup. So I think that one takes some time, maybe a day or two for it to get into those price points. So I'm just gonna put in 47 over here for Campbell Soup. And yes, I could use some Campbell Soup for my throat. That could be great. Okay, the next. Okay, the next few stocks over here that I got. My head is hurting. The next few stocks that I got over here is going to be Bitcoin related, BTC USD. So let's quickly head over to Bitcoin. What the hell did I just hear? Am I going delirious? I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things. I'm going crazy. I'm actually hearing things. Okay. Bitcoin back above 40K. I mean, it didn't really go below 40K, so that's good. I was worried about Bitcoin going back below 40K after this drop. Didn't really go below 40K, but right now we are struggling in these ranges. We're not going above these ranges and holding. We're basically holding under these ranges. One good thing that stands out is this was the first big down move on Bitcoin, and if you put the anchored VWAP for that first down day, you can see how we're basically trading above it. Technically, on days like those, for example, when a stock kind of creates an all-time high or a big volume day high, that ends up being the high for a couple months, couple weeks, or whatever. Especially on a big volatile move that this position has had for such a long time now. But as you can see, that little sell-off is being respected, and we're still trading above it. If we still keep trading above that little sell-off for a little bit longer, then this anchored VWAP that we have over here from when the whole move started for the long side, you can see how we never traded under that move ever. Right? We never really traded under that move ever. That move we thought would get flattened out over here. When an anchored VWAP starts to go flat, that usually could indicate a soon to come reversal in trend. We're not seeing that flattening out happening anytime soon yet for this anchored VWAP. So if that's the case, then this probably gets drawn to the higher end of these ranges, somewhere into 40,000, at which point 40,000 becomes the support, and then it starts to flatten out. And if that's the case, there's still more rooms left here on Bitcoin. So Coinbase, Bitcoin, Mara. I mean, look at Coin at 150, almost back to 155. This is pretty insane on Coinbase. Wow, Wawawiwa. Mara 15, Riot 16. You know those price points. They've always been levels to keep an eye out for. I guess Mara is now going to be 20 instead of 16, Prad, because we're getting ready for those moves. So you might want to be watching what Mara does into $20 over here. We are getting above to the north side. Riot 16 was the price point, if I remember correctly. My alert's still there, and that's the one I'm going to be watching more closely instead of Mara, because Mara has been going a little fugazi right now. So I'm going to be watching RIOT instead, and if Mara can go into that $20 area, then I'm going to be watching Mara. So Mara's going to get demoted to a blue color stock, whereas Riot's going to upgrade itself to a orange color stock. Usually it's the other way around, because Mara does a lot more volume than Riot, almost twice as volume as Riot. So taking a look at that. Last but not least, the Magnificent Seven, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you don't forget to take a look at these baskets of stocks. We already talked about it once before. We're going to quickly run through these stocks to find the levels that we might be interested in. Apple, right off the rip, you got that 200 area. 198 was today's exact high. 198.23 is the all-time high. So 198.23 all-time high. ATH on Apple. As for supports, I mean, you basically want to look for any of these previous levels that Apple has been holding up into to get respected, to be looking for a long. Maybe yesterday's VWAP comes into play or something for Apple, but right now Apple, you're looking for that breakout trade. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon's holding up perfectly before 150. So if Amazon can get above 150, that's some fun moves over there for us too. So let's put in Amazon 150. Oop, I put Apple support 150. No, Amazon resistance 150, brother. Microsoft, we kind of already broke out the all-time high, so now we're just waiting for Microsoft to kind of use that previous all-time high as support, and it has been doing so successfully. So you're looking for anywhere from 366s, 367s and higher for supports to get built in, and because the market already announced a very good catalyst on the market, which is possible rate cuts coming in soon. So Microsoft most likely getting ready to go test that all-time high again at 384. So keep an eye out for that bad boy on MSFT. If I remember accurately, my average price on Microsoft should be somewhere around here. So I'm up like 20-30 bucks. Let's go, baby. I'm up like 40-60 bucks. I'll take it. But MSFT not really there just yet, as Amazon and Apple are, so we're not ready for MSFT. META a little bit more ready than MSFT, so we'll take a look at this one. We'll also throw in the alert for this one at 341-ish or so, and then we'll wait patiently, but realistically the level is at 343 for META. We're going to be patient for that level to come into play. Let's go to Google. Google very choppy. Forget Google. Nvidia. Nvidia is a little bit better. We got that all-time high right into 505.48, 502.66, also an area to keep an eye out for. And Nvidia is pretty damn near that price. So I'm just gonna throw an alert right below 500 on Nvidia. And if Nvidia pushes into 500, we can keep a watch on it. Apple, color orange. Meta color orange, and Nvidia color orange. Let's quickly head over to Netflix and Tesla for the last few things, ladies and gentlemen. Oh baby, let's go. Netflix also pushing up into that beautiful price points over here. We love these trade opportunities right here. As you guys can see, 483 to 485 on Netflix. 483 to 485 on Netflix is somewhat of a range to keep an interesting eye on. And if we do break out of that area, hold into that area, especially with the QQQ breaking out to the north side, only 3 points away from it, we could get some fun moves over here on all of these tech basket stocks. Tesla, last but not least, I said it's been stuck at the moment, so we don't have to really watch Tesla now. There's bunch of other more important trades other than Tesla, Google, and Microsoft for us, so we'll take a look at those ones. For tomorrow, I'm going to put Amazon also in the orange color of basket of stocks for me, and we're going to ignore Tesla for tomorrow. Let's quickly head over to QQQ because we need to put in the price points for QQQ, which is 408.71. That's the all-time high on QQQ, and we're pretty damn close to those all-time highs right now. So let's go take a look at that. This one is what, 405. 405 to 408.71. And as for the S&P 500, we got 479.98. All right. So these are our levels for tomorrow. Last but not least, quickly, let's take a look at the economic calendar to see if there's anything important to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Wow, lots of stuff to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Busy economic calendar. Let's take a quick little screenshot of this. Post it in our Discord server so we can get our members prepared for it tomorrow. We usually post the earnings calendar on there at the start of every week. And then December 14, 2023. And then we also post the economic calendar anytime we have the ability to do so. So here's the economic calendar posted. As you guys can see, continuous jobless claims, core retail sales, import-export numbers, initial jobless claims. So lots and lots of lots of important data coming out. The FOMC committee has kind of already decided that they are now getting ready to cut interest rates starting new year. So as you guys can see right here, 18% expected to cut rate, 81% expected to hold the current rate, starting off into the first FOMC a cycle, which starts on the 31st of January. So 31st January, they're already pricing in about an 18% rate cut. It's been a wonderful time, ladies and gentlemen. The markets are wonderful. What a time to be alive. We were crying recession half a year ago, and now we're at all-time highs. And now we're at all-time highs. All right. Trying to remember if there's anything that I'm forgetting during my routine. Let's go take a look at the IPO calendar. Nothing at the IPO calendar. Let's go take a look at the after hour calendar, or the don't email me anything. Let's go take a look at the after hours scanner. 102 million. Oh, it's a where's the price filter? Or whatever, fuck you. Actually, let's do this. Turn that off real quick. Okay, volume. I want it by volume. I want it by volume. We got NUBI, 10.8% move on that one. Not sure what the hell that one is. 10.8% move on NUBI. SOXL, semiconductors moving up. SunPower moving up a little bit. I think SPWR is SunPower. Yeah, SunPower moving up a little bit for some reason. Some other stocks, GMBL, JBI. I thought it was JBL for a second. JBL should be moving tomorrow. A bunch of other random stocks that without any real volume. So nothing to us to really take a look at over here. CCCC. Actually, I want to take a look at that. I saw a lot of people talk about CCCC today. What's going on with this stock? C4 Therapeutics. What's going on with you? It's a buyout. It's a buyout. They're getting bought out. Yeah, the stock's getting bought out. So once again, this stock not as interesting for you guys, so I won't waste your time with it. I guess it's time to call it a day, guys. Hopefully I have enough energy and strength to wake up tomorrow and go trade. Oh, I want to, we prepared for it, so I want to go trade. Hopefully I get up and don't die from a cold again, and start shivering in my sleep and not be able to sleep all night, because that's what's been happening the last 3 days. Just shivering, and not being able to pass out. Just sleep, like being up till like 2 a.m. and whatnot. And hopefully that doesn't happen today. So I'm gonna try to sneak into my bed a little bit earlier. I will keep you guys posted about how I'm doing on my health, and hopefully I will be able to go live tomorrow again. A couple things once again: Patreon, Cameo, giveaway. If you guys are not signed up to all of that, sign up for the giveaway. That one is kind of mandatory because it's absolutely free. What are you doing not signing up to free things? Are you an idiot? Go sign up for that giveaway. It's a fun little Christmas giveaway. The Patreon, optional, absolutely optional. You don't have to sign up for it, but if you do, it helps me eat a slice of pizza or buy a coffee, even though I don't drink coffee. And Cameo, you can make me do fun stuff using Cameo, so check that one out. All the other social media related to trading social media, all down below in the description, along with my affiliate sponsors will help keep these streams alive, so please go check them out too. If you want to use the very same tools that I use every single day while day trading, those are the tools down below listed. I don't use any other tools. I only use those 3 tools. Those are the only 3 tools, in my opinion, that I need. So I'm not going to push any other tools on you guys. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, see you tomorrow. Go get some rest. I'm going to rest my throat. Good night. Peace. Love you guys.